Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. Welcome to UMT Massive Open Online course. I'm Wan Zuriati, your lecturer for today's topic. As you know, there are two categories of agriculture, biological assets and agricultural produce. Biological assets are categorized as plants and animals. In the previous topic, you have learned in detail on the animals as biological assets. So, in this topic, I will focus on the another biological asset, plants. The learning outcomes of this topic are: first, to identify activities of plantations in the agriculture industries. Second, to differentiate between agricultural produce and biological assets of plants. And finally, explain the related accounting concepts and principles in agricultural industries. As an introduction to the biological assets, plants, so in this topic, I will cover on categories of agriculture, the differences of agriculture activity and agriculture produce of plants, and the biological transformations of plants. The common examples of plants are vegetables, crops, trees, and fruit orchards. Before we go in detail, it is important to highlight the differences between agricultural activity and agricultural produce for the plants. As explained in the previous topic, in general, agricultural activities are activities to transform or harvest the biological assets such as plants and animals for sale into agricultural produce or into additional biological assets. For the plants, the agricultural activities cover a diverse range of activities, starting from cultivating until harvesting once the plants reach their maturity. The following video explains the process in detail. How about agricultural produce? Agricultural produce is the harvested product of the biological assets. Harvest is the detachment of produce from a biological assets or cessations of a biological assets life process. For the plant, the agricultural produce is the harvested product of the plants. In another word, harvesting process is categorized as detachment such as latex from rubber tree, removal and replanting, and cessations of the plants. For example, if a plantation grows oil palm trees, harvests the fruits and produce cooking oil, so the oil palm trees are biological assets that continually generate crops of oil palm. When a plantation harvests the oil palm fruits, their biological transformation ceases and they become agricultural produce. From this example, the transformations process of oil palm trees provide oil palm fruit as its agricultural produce, and the fruit are processed to turn into cooking oil as their product. Other examples of agricultural produce are harvested banana from banana trees, latex from rubber trees, and palm fruits from oil palm trees. And how about the impacts of the transformation process to the plants? The plants keep on transforming. They grow, degenerate, and produce. As a result, quantitative or qualitative changes occur in the nature of the plants. Such changes are known as biological transformations, in which commonly classified as growth, procreations, and degenerations of the plants. Growth is an increase in size, increase in quantity, and improvements in quality of the plants. The growth of plants such as oil palms and rubber trees normally take few years to be harvested. For example, the harvesting time of oil palm trees normally from 3 to 25 or 30 years. Procreation is a creation of new additional living plants, while degenerations is deteriorations in quality or decrease in quantity of the plants. Up to this point, you have been introduced to plantation activities in agriculture industries. Additionally, you have been taught on how to identify biological assets and agricultural produce specifically for plant. However, there are still several unanswered questions. For example, first, how to measure the plants as biological assets and their agricultural produce, and second, what are the accounting treatments of the transformation process of the plants. All this will be covered in the next topic. So that's all for today. Thank you and see you in the next topic.